Hello everyone, my name's Ava. Welcome to my YouTube channel if you're new, or welcome back if you've seen either of my two previous videos. For those who are new, I have started living in my car. It started out as like an occasional thing, but I realized there's a lot of benefits to it and reasons why I actually prefer it, at least for the time being. So I shared a previous video with some of those reasons, which you can check out. But in this video, I actually just want to share some tips and tricks I have for you about living in the car, because it is something that I have refined over the time I've done it. I still, I'm sure, have a lot to learn. But in the couple months I've done it, I have come up with a few things that have really helped me out and made it a really realistic and long-term option for me. So the first thing to think about is, I think, finding just a good parking space for where you sleep at night. At first, I would stay in hotel parking lots, which I still think is a good option because there's always a lot of unfamiliar cars and people around, so you can be kind of inconspicuous that way. And that's something I will still do. I guess I have realized, though, you don't want to do that for too long, just because you don't want to get noticed by the hotel staff or anyone. Although with so many cars around, you might not get noticed. And also, I guess the other problem with them is that it can be kind of loud. Like, there's a lot of cars and trucks and people coming and going. And if it's a crowded parking lot, you don't necessarily want to park right next to another car. But yeah, it's nice because it's a place where there's unfamiliar cars, so you won't really stand out from the crowd. And also, if you do need to use a restroom or something, you can go in and use the restroom in the hotel, although that I would be nervous to do for more than a few days at a time, because then you might start to look a little more familiar. In addition to not wanting to stay in one place for too long, I find it actually really nice to be just in a residential neighborhood. It's darker. Sometimes hotels have really bright parking lot lights, and you just are a little bit more at the mercy of traffic and who comes and goes. So yeah, I've realized there's a lot of quiet residential streets. I look for somewhere where there's like one or two other cars parked, so it's not just me parking there. And then in the summer too, it's really good to park in the shade. So in the morning when the sun comes up, you want something to be to the east of your car so that it is shaded, because a car can heat up pretty quickly in the morning. And yeah, then I also am really making sure that I rotate around to different neighborhoods so that I'm not, no one starts to wonder like, oh, whose car is that? Or like, I don't want someone to come, of course, like in the morning and like peek in. I live in a smallish city, but it feels like there's really lots of streets, and I'd like to come up with a schedule just so I don't really have to think about where to go each night, but just rotate around to, one of like 5 to 10 neighborhoods. The second thing, living in my car, I really didn't want to sacrifice any health things like my hygiene and my eating habits. So yeah, I've come up with a few things that really help me keep up with my hygiene. I do have a gym membership. I feel like I can spend more money on my gym membership because I'm saving a lot on rent. It's somewhere where I spend a fair amount of time, and especially having like a good shower and equipment and somewhere I can get ready is really, really helpful. I think I am going to upgrade to a more expensive gym, but until now I've been going to Crunch Fitness, and actually I've had really positive experience there. It's only $15 a month, but the equipment is good and they do have showers, and that's kind of really all you need. I don't mind spending more because it's something I like, but you can certainly get by on any gym that has a shower. I also just want to make sure that I maintain my oral hygiene as well. So for that, I have a plastic bowl that I use as a sink. So I feel like I have lots of space. I don't get water spilling on me, that I just have in the front seat. I have a water flosser. It really just feels like using a regular sink. I actually like it a bit better than using a bathroom because it seems cleaner. There's not like a wet counter or germs and things all over the place. And so I really take my time with it. I also, I love to listen to an audiobook while I brush my teeth and do my flossing and everything, so I don't feel rushed. It's actually something that I look forward to. So yeah, that brings me to, you'll want to make sure to have a power source. So I have a large like rechargeable battery in addition to like my teeth cleaning devices. I can also boil water, I can charge my phone, I have a little fan that I can plug in. The next thing that is really something that makes living in the car nice is just having like some entertainment figured out and knowing what I might want to watch or listen to. So yeah, the audiobooks, I've always liked audiobooks, but being in the car, like I'm more inclined to find a new book and continue listening to them, because as I'm, like I said, doing like my morning or my evening routine, it's really ideal just to have something to listen to during that time. Or also, you know, once I wake up, I'll usually be driving somewhere soon after that, so I can immediately listen to my book while I'm driving. I also do, I'm sure plenty of people have unlimited data. I do have like an old cell phone plan with only 1 gigabyte, so I download shows on Netflix or Hulu or wherever, and then if I want to before bed I can watch something, although I do find that I'm usually pretty tired out by the time I get to the car, and I usually fall asleep pretty quickly. Oh, the other thing that I have learned is really the importance of having a comfortable bed. At first, when I just did this now and then, I would just curl up on the back seats. And then when I realized I wanted to do this longer term, I thought that might be something that's not so good for my health to be curled up, and just stretching out would be better for me. So for that, I just fold down the back seats. I have a thick 3-inch mattress pad, and that lays all the way flat, and it's really comfortable. And yeah, then in the morning I'll just roll it up and put the seat back, and I'm good to go until the next night. Another thing for sleeping is, I guess, a little bit like when it is more extreme temperatures. Right now we're in July, so it's kind of the hottest part of the year. I'm in a more northern climate, so yeah, it's pretty doable. It can be hot in the day, but a lot of times it cools down quite significantly to like the upper 50s or low 60s in the evening, so it's very comfortable. I have some screens that I got on the window, so I can roll the windows down. Not only does it let cool air in, but it's just fresh air too, so that always feels good. And it feels like camping, except actually more comfortable, and like you don't have to worry as much about bugs or things. So it just feels like really being out in nature in a very pleasing way. And yeah, the other night I was just laying there. I had a nice parking spot next to like, I guess like it was sort of a park, and I just was really pleased with how just pleasant that felt. And I mentioned this in a previous video as well, but I actually have been sleeping really well because I'm tired out by the time I get to bed. I don't have many distractions, and it's really quiet and dark, and yeah, just very nice. But where I was going with that is there are some things you can do to keep the temperature a little better. I've only had to do this twice so far, but there were a couple nights where it was really, it wasn't even that hot. It was like still in the 70s, so then the car just can be a little bit warmer even if it's cool outside. So for that, I just filled up some bags with ice and put them in the back with me, and that cooled things down a little bit. Okay, another thing is just to have some non-perishable food. For the most part, I'll get food outside or make something at my office or something like that, but it is always good just to have a few snacks in the car for if you get hungry. So I'll have bagels or like bars or that type of thing, crackers. And then this might be obvious, but living in such a small space, it's really critical just to not have much clutter. I feel a lot better when I keep the car organized and clean, and I have a certain way of things. Before I lived in the car, my car would get messy because I just toss things in the back and don't think much about it. But now living there, it's extra important to be mindful of where things are, keep it organized, and just not have too many things in it. So to do that, it's really critical to have a locker or a storage unit. I have lockers at the gym that I use that I can keep stuff overnight. I also have lockers at my office. So those are both really good places to get things that I'd only need every now and then. In the car though, I keep my toiletries and that sort of thing. And then I'll have my backpack with some computers and headphones and things like that. And then I have a suitcase which has a decent amount of clothes. And the suitcase I put in the back seat so that when I fold down the back and lay out the mattress, the top of the mattress actually lies on the suitcase. So that keeps it flat. So that was a really good way to take advantage of the space. That's about it for now. I'm still learning. I'm figuring things out all the time. So that's my first round of tips. I'm sure I have more to share now, and I'll have more as I continue to learn how I can improve my living in the car. Thank you for watching.